Welcome back to the Seven Figure Seller Summit, everyone. Today is day 3. I can't believe this week just is flying by. It seems like one really long day to me, but I'm just so excited. We had a great day today talking about scaling your business. So, as day 1, we focus on the mindset fundamentals. Day 2 is all about marketing and branding. So I'm super excited to have several guest speakers with us tonight and today. First, we have Seamus Gelvis from Lithuania. Seamus is a 7-figure seller. He's selling in multiple marketplaces, and he really laid out a lot of the strategies that he's using today right now. So, Seamus, welcome, and maybe you can quickly drop one quick nugget for everyone as we're kicking things off tonight.
Yeah, sure. Gary, thank you so much for your introduction. Quick nugget. It's very simple. Go internationally and scale your business. I mean that it's even being the average seller, but selling the products internationally, it's multiplies by many times. So you can be an average seller in each small marketplace, but when you combine all the sales, it becomes quite big, and I believe it's the easiest way how to scale the business is just to go international.
Awesome. Great. So welcome, Seamus. And because we are live, guys, if you are watching and you can see and hear us, can you please type your name and where you're joining us from in the chat? Okay. Next, warm welcome to my good friend, Meghala Bardwaj. She handles the Virtual India Sourcing Show, India Sourcing Trip, and she really laid down how you can source from India, best practices in 2021 for e-com sellers. Welcome, Meghala. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much, Gary, for having me.
Yes, super excited to have you. And I think right now, sourcing from India, it's kind of like zigging while everyone else is zagging, right? Most everyone is sourcing from China. So Meghala really dropped a lot of knowledge, best practices, as well as some common misconceptions about sourcing from India. So if you haven't checked out her session, please make sure to do that. All right. And also next, I'd like to welcome Cameron Walker, who's a 8-figure seller. He's based out of China. So good morning, Cameron, and happy Chinese New Year to you. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks very much. Pretty good. Yeah, these couple days I'm usually in Shenzhen. I'm not in Shenzhen right now. So actually, I'm a little bit cold. It looks like I'm wearing a hoodie, but actually I should be wearing like a winter jacket. It's like 5 degrees in this room right now, but I thought a winter jacket would look a little bit weird on the webinar.
That's fine. If you want to bundle up, that's fine. I mean, it's good to know where everyone is staying. So yeah, welcome, Cameron. And I loved what you covered. You covered the 10 ways that you and your family were able to scale your business to 8 figures. And I think Cameron is someone. It's like they're kind of they're not promoting themselves. They're not on many they're not like a guru. They're just doing it. Right. So I really enjoyed what Cameron covered, and he's really going into the nitty gritty. He really knows his numbers about his product sizes. I actually had a chat with one of my team members about one of the products we're selling on Amazon to make sure that the size we're in, like the Amazon standard small product tier, because I remember what Cameron says, right? If you can shave a couple of grams or a couple of inches off, you can really lower your Amazon fees. So I highly encourage you guys to check that out. And everybody watching, just quick shout out to Uli from Toronto, Robert from Boise, Idaho, Asmi from Melbourne, Australia. And Robert, yes, it's BYOB. If you want to bring your own bee or cocktail or coffee, depending on where you are, definitely feel free. So welcome, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to type it in the chat. I mean, this is kind of like a mastermind. I think it's so valuable. I mean, Seamus is running his 7-figure business. It's like 2 a.m. in Latvia right now. And, he has, like, he said this week was like one of the craziest weeks ever, but he took time out of his schedule. So I hope, we make this worthwhile for everyone. So please interact, please ask questions. I mean, these guys are like a gold mine, like a resource.
So hey, Seamus, just a quick question. So you said the craziest week ever. You mean for sales? Like sales are up or other stuff?
Well, it's combined. It's internal stuff that we have to solve. I mean, we are scaling our business, and we need to prepare warehouses and so on. So during my presentation, I said that we have the intermediate warehouse here in Lithuania. So we preparing like processes, we scaling with the warehouses. So it's a lot of things to do besides the Amazon in order to maintain the same like business. It's Amazon is the sales channel, but it's there are many different tasks to handle besides the Amazon itself. So
Right, I hear you.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
the sales on Amazon is still, it also is, they are rising, and that's okay. So it's when the sales rising, it's good and happy problems to solve all about it.
Yeah,
you know?
that's kind of what I was wondering, because like recently I've heard a couple people, including ourselves, where the sales are like the trends are going up quite quickly, quite steeply, and not in a way that they have in the past. Like we're in toys, and these couple weeks, especially the last 10 days, has been like irrationally strong, and we're kind of trying to figure out whether it's going to drop off right after like tomorrow, or what right after the Valentine's Day cutoff, or what's going on. But it's been kind of strange. Like we were assuming that we'd have a drop in kind of March and April compared to last year, because last year was crazy. But so far it's been pretty solid. We can't quite figure out why.
The lockdowns.
Well, we compared our sales like January. This January was even better than the November of last year. So it was very strange for us as well. So it's usually there's a drop after December, after the fourth quarter. It's usually there's a drop, but this year there was no such a big drop. Of course, it's not the same December sales, but yeah, the sales of January were much better than last year's November.
Also, I just have to add something. I had a couple of calls today with their clients, and a lot of them said exactly the same thing, that the January was even stronger than November last year. And I had like 2 people say that to me like today. So, you know, it's very interesting, definitely.
I think we're seeing the same in terms of traffic and people actually just searching for products and so on. And I think it's very much regard to the COVID situation still, because even though a lot of countries have started vaccinating and stuff, basically what I see at least is that it looks like people are still very much at home. And when they're at home, they're bored and they start ordering stuff online.
Yeah. So now we just have to figure out how to get more goods in at like $14,000 a container, or 14,000 pounds a container, or something like that, which is another headache.
I think particularly for the kids, right? So the problem for a lot of the parents is they're trying to overcompensate, because the kids are home, many of the kids are home, and they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? Well, let's buy them some stuff to keep them entertained so we can concentrate on work.
But you know, guys, being as sellers, these problems are very nice problems to solve. You know, it's a much bigger headache. It's when the sales dropping and you don't know why. It's much better when the sales are rising and you don't know why, and then you know it's a kind of a good thing to solve.
100%. I mean, that's a nice problem to have, right?
Yeah, nice problem to have.
Yeah. And it's what we're expecting as well, you know, on a high level for 2021, you know, after COVID. You know, some people were doubting, you know, is this going to sustain, or is it just like a COVID kick, like one and done, we're going to go back to before? But all signs are indicating that, you know, the growth continues, right? I mean, from what we're seeing from Seamus and Cameron and, you know, Yana and all the sellers she's working with, right? So I think that's, you know, that's very positive. And
but I think the big benefit, Gary, for most e-commerce guys is that a lot of people that either didn't order that much online, or people who didn't order online, suddenly realized it's a possibility, right? So I think if you look at COVID more than anything, the one thing it have done is basically bring a lot more people online.
That's right. And there was a study that was done for American, you know, the American market. The fastest growing segment in the US right now is the older American market over the age of 65. So these are like the senior citizens, the grandmas, before they were scared to put their credit card online, but now they don't have a choice, right? And they discovered, oh, it's a lot easier than having to drive up to Walmart and load up my shopping cart and, risk getting exposed, right? So it's really easy for them. So it's a whole new, market of customers that are entering the whole e-commerce game. So I think, 2021, it's going to be another golden year. So, I mean, definitely, that's why I decided to do this, to run the summit again in 6 months, right? Before we used to do it only once a year, but things are changing so fast, and we have like our finger to the pulse, right? I mean, people like Seamus and Cameron and Yana, they're seeing this, straight from the source, right? So I think that's great that we have everyone. So, but I want to quickly introduce everyone to kick things off, and quickly I also want to give quick shout out to Henry, who just joined us. And Yana. So I wanted to introduce you next. So Yana is from YLT Translations. She really works with many successful sellers all over the world, and she helps them expand internationally with translations. And then I've used Yana's translation service myself when I expanded to Japan, and she did very well with our listing, and it really helped us. We sold out the first shipment, and we just were adding a second product as well. So we're continuing to use it, you guys. So shameless plug, but Yana, how are you doing?
Hi, Gary. Thank you. Thank you so much for this free promo. I'm doing great. I'm the owner of YLT Translations, and we help sellers expand to international marketplaces. Actually, in 2020, we've seen an increase of 40% when it comes to sellers who want to expand to international marketplaces. It's been a huge demand, and I think the trend is definitely going to continue in 2021. Especially a lot of people have been doing translations and optimizing their listens for the Polish marketplace, which is going to launch in a couple of days. And but like people have start doing this like ever since October, so people really get ready on time. And I remember for Sweden, it was launched in December. But we've had inquiries like since summertime to just translate. People are now translating like completely full catalogs, and we're now working with very big brands that have like 20, 30,000 ASINs, US brands, and they want to go to global expansion, which is something that was not they would not go, like 2 years ago, they would have not expanded to Europe. And I've talked to them, and they also told me this. They're like, we kind of stayed at the US, and like that's what we wanted to do. But now it's like such a great opportunity, and everybody wants the piece of that European cake or other international marketplaces. So I think definitely like international expansion is the way to go, especially because Amazon has been adding so many countries. Like last 3 countries have been added within a year to the pan-European system. So I think it's definitely interesting to see where this goes. And I think that Sweden, everybody has really, really big expectations from Sweden because of the very specific e-commerce culture over there, and people are very, e-commerce penetration is also very high. So I think it should be a very, very good marketplace. Even the Netherlands, a lot of people have been complaining about the Netherlands for the whole last year. And then at the end, the Netherlands, Amazon, it became #1 marketplace. Bol was, for instance, like the dominant one. And everybody thought that Amazon is never going to reach Bol, and like it's, just a little brother. But basically, Amazon at the end, when they rolled out the PPC finally, like at the end of November, they just easily went over Bol, and now they're like a prime marketplace over there, and people are finally getting some really good sales.
Awesome.
So I would say that, definitely 2021 is all about international expansion, because as Seamus said, you can really increase your revenue. You don't have to stay always at the US marketplace. What's really good about, let's talk about European marketplaces, is that a lot of bans and a lot of other stuff that are, they're not allowed at the US marketplace. Some of them never actually go live on European marketplaces. For instance, like caps lock and bullets, you can still do that in Europe, but you're not allowed to do that in US, for instance. And some of the other things that we've noticed that are not allowed on the U.S. market are totally still allowed in Europe. So I would say that U.S. has like the most rigorous rules, and they're probably like rolling out a lot of different things and trying them out on the U.S. marketplace, and a lot of them would never gonna be banned on the European marketplaces. So you can have a lot of more different things that you could use on those listings that you could like use on the US listings, definitely.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's great that you're able to see the differences in the different marketplaces, right? I mean, some markets are more rigorous when it comes to these rules than others. And we have a question for you, Yana, from Robert. Do you do Mexican listings or Spanish?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do Mexico, we do UAE, we do Japan, we do Mexico, Canada, and we do Brazil from the old worldwide international marketplaces.
Excellent. All right.
I have a quick question for Yana. Just on top of that question, is it a good idea, or can you use your Spanish like ES translations, ES marketplace translations, and just copy them straight into Mexico?
Well, that's different in Spanish. I mean, you could, because like you can use American English and the UK one, but maybe they have different words they use for different terms, like they do in the UK. And I would say that Mexico and European Spanish are different. It's much more than like a dialect when you speak that you hear the difference. I was having a conversation about this, I think like a year and a half ago with my translators, and they told me that if you're a Spanish translator, I mean, you can try to do the Mexican version of Spanish, but it's better to have like a Mexican speaking translator, because it's different. There are nuances, and which would be kind of, they would know that this is not like Mexican version of Spanish. And also because of keywords can also be different. So you definitely should compare whatever you decide to do. I think the keywords are the most important thing. So it doesn't matter if you're using like Spanish keywords, maybe they're not going to be good enough for the Mexican marketplace. You never know this before you try and compare.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's always. I knew the answer before I asked, but I thought I'd ask it anyway. It's kind of the same as like French Canadian and French.
Yeah, well,
yeah, exactly.
From my perspective, I'm selling in Mexico as well, and we use the Spanish. I mean that if you want to, well, you don't have much money and so on, it's like advice for the other sellers from my side, that if you want to be on the safer side, so at least do Spanish translation and go to Mexico with the same listing translations. It's much better than doing nothing. I mean that it's it's better to use the Spanish that's European version than just not trying to sell in Mexico at all, without like being afraid of maybe there's something different and so on. So it's much better to try selling than doing nothing. So, and when the sales coming, then you can optimize and give listings to Yana. She will do perfect job and go through the listings and adapt to Mexican slang and use their words. But at least try to do it.
Yeah, I agree with Seamus. I mean, as the saying goes, done is better than perfect, right? Don't try to polish it to 100% and delay it like 6 months. I mean, if it's good enough, I mean, just go with it, and you pivot, you learn along the way, right? And Jeff Bezos, he wrote in his annual shareholder letters, I'm sure you guys have seen this as well. He said there's like a 70% rule in Amazon, where if you have about 70% of the information available, that's enough for you to take a decision. Like anything more than that, you're waiting too long, and then you can always course correct along the way. So I think that's something we can take away from Bezos as well. But definitely, I mean, get your listings translated properly from native speakers, ideally. And Robert had a follow-up. Listings need to be done at a national level. Is that right?
I think he probably means native level.
Native level. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll come back to that. All right. Yeah. Well, anyways. So again, if you joined us late, this is the 7-Figure Seller Summit Day 3 Scaling Live Recap. We have some awesome, amazing speakers. Seamus Gelvis, 7-Figure Seller from Lithuania. Megla Bardwash, expert when it comes to sourcing from India. Cameron Walker, 8-figure seller selling on Amazon based in China. Matt Singers, he's an expert when it comes to affiliate marketing, driving external traffic to your Amazon product listings to get more sales and rank. And also Yana from YLT Translations. She can help you localize and translate all of your listings, guys. And sharing is caring. If you guys that are watching, if you have a friend that's selling e-commerce or on Amazon, why not share this with them so you guys can watch together? Maybe they can get one of their key questions answered, and almost like a watch party, right? I mean, if there's some friends on that. All right, Robert says national cultural level. So I think that's what he means, like Mexican Spanish versus Spain.
Yeah, like localization. I mean, adjusting to the target marketplace. Yes, definitely. National cultural level is something you should incorporate in the listings, and that also means that if you have like a US text and whoever you want to hire for the job, maybe a translator on Fiverr or anybody else, you should just tell them that they need to adapt the original text, that it shouldn't be like a word by word translation, because it probably in some different marketplaces this literal translation would sound a little bit too literal for this target language that you are translating to. So you'll have to definitely to adapt, localize. Every marketplace has its own style. Not all marketplaces have like the pitching and like pushing people into buying products. Like the US market, for instance, loves that, but Germans, they hate it. So it really, really depends, and you really need to find someone who understands how to make a good sales copy, so that Germans or French or Mexicans, they read this and it feels completely natural for them to read something like that. So they're not, confused. And because people who, especially if you're like selling baby products or beauty products, they have like ingredients, or you have to explain how to use them. Like if people don't understand this 100%, people are not going to buy the product, because if you don't understand something, you want to buy this for your baby, like are you gonna buy that, or are you just gonna skip to the next product that you understand 100%? So I think that's important to convey the right message.
100%. That's great. All right. So we have some other questions coming in, but before we get to that, I'd like to kind of shift to sourcing. Okay, I mean, as you're scaling your business, sometimes you want to differentiate yourself, right? Or you want to find products that your competition isn't sourcing, right? Products that aren't easily found on Alibaba and all those online sources. So I wanted to quickly ask Megla, who gave a great session today talking about sourcing from India best practices. In terms of, a lot of people, they don't want to source from China, they want to source from India, but you can't just simply replace, the exact same thing you're sourcing from China with India. Can you give us like a high level, what people can source from India and what to expect if you're thinking about maybe they want to scale their business and add some new products to differentiate? What do you say?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing to consider is that India is not China. India is India. So when you're sourcing from, a country other than China, you have to go there for that country's advantages, competitive strengths. So you have to keep that in mind. A lot of times people come to India thinking that it is going to be exactly the same as China in terms of, product categories, the scale of production, but it's not that way. So when you're going to another country like India, you have to have realistic expectations. And there are certain categories that India is very strong in, and you should go to source from India for those specific categories. So I'll give a couple of examples. So first of all, what categories does India not do? There's no electronics or electrical kind of products yet. For those kinds of products, it's better to go to China. And the types of products that India specializes in is, first of all, a lot of the apparel and textiles-based products. Home furnishings, that's a huge category as well. Things like, bedspreads, cushion covers, all of the home furnishings. A lot of really beautiful fabrics that are, handloom fabrics that are woven in very unique weaves and very different kind of embellishments on the fabrics, like hand embroidery, for example. That's something that India is really known for. And apart from the soft products or the soft lines like furnishings, there's also the hard lines. So these are things like metal products or wooden products, glass, all of mostly the naturally occurring materials. Those are India's strength. If you go to India for, let's say plastic injection kind of products, the pricing will not be that competitive. Those kinds of products are better produced in China, and you'll find better pricing there. So another strength of India is handmade products. So specifically, wooden and metal products. These are really good. These are very high quality products that are handmade. And in fact, there are production hubs in India that specialize in certain categories or certain materials, and they have the skills of producing these products by hand, and these skills have been transferred from generation to generation. For example, there's a city in the north that specializes in metal products, and that's all they do, whether it's brass or iron or all different types of metal. There's another one that specializes in wood and in glass, so that's something to consider as well. Yeah, and also eco-friendly products. I think that's a very huge and fast-growing category, and specifically for Amazon. So, for example, and there's a lot of research and R&D going on in India in terms of new, innovative, eco-friendly materials and products. So, for example, like a disposable dinnerware made from areca palm leaves. I think that was quite popular. That is still quite popular on Amazon. And then we also have things like fashion accessories, bags, and belts made from innovative materials like cactus leather and vegan leather, cork leather. Those kinds of things are very popular as well.
Excellent. So we have some quick questions for Megla here in the chat, and for those of you guys that asked questions earlier, I did see them, and we'll get to them as well. So quick shout out to our friend Margaret Jolly. Hi Gary, Megla, Yana, and your other awesome guests. Great info, guys. G'day from Geelong, Australia. Nice to have you, Margaret. And she's also a very successful seller that's sourcing from India. So if Margaret wants to drop some value in the chat, that would be awesome as well. We have a question about how do you find suppliers in India? Where to look from them? From Uli.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of things to keep in mind. First of all, when you're sourcing from India, you want to look for export-focused suppliers, because there is a huge domestic market. So there are lots of suppliers that produce products only for the domestic market, and they may not be familiar with the specifications, requirements, standards of overseas markets. So that's why you have to make sure that you're sourcing from export-focused markets. There are a couple of different ways to find these exporters. So first of all, I would just go to Alibaba and Global Sources. So these are the two main export-focused directories. And even though the majority of suppliers on there are from China, there are suppliers from India and other countries as well. So after you do a search, you got to use the country location filter to sort or to view countries from India to view companies from India. So that's one thing to do. Another thing to keep in mind is that Google and all is not blocked in India like it is in China. So a lot of the big exporters websites, they are actually indexed on Google. So you can just do a Google search and you'll be able to see some of the top exporters that way as well. Also, you can look for the exhibitor list of the Delhi Fair. So Delhi Fair is one of the most important export-focused fairs that's held in India. It's sort of the Canton Fair, but much smaller in terms of the scale. And basically look for the exhibitor list of that exhibition. And they do post the list online. So that is a very high quality supplier list, because all of these companies are exporters, because this Delhi Fair is focused on exports. It's organized by the Export Promotion Council for Handicrafts. And also, that these are, real legitimate companies because they have exhibited at a trade show and they are members of this Export Promotion Council, which is a government organization. So those are some ways to start looking for suppliers.
Excellent. And we have a follow-up question, Jared, who asks, Megla, do you know if the Delhi Fair has been rescheduled?
Yeah, Jared. So I was actually just talking to EPCH, the Delhi Fair organizers, a couple of days ago. They were initially, they had scheduled this fair for March, and they were kind of hoping they could go ahead with a physical fair, but that's definitely not happening. And now they have rescheduled it to May, And once again, they're hoping they're going to be able to do a physical fair, but we still have to wait and see what might happen.
Excellent. Thanks for that. And
hey, Megala, talking about fair rescheduling. What's the deal with Global Sources? They're still holding they've still got their dates penciled in for April, don't they?
Well, as of now, yes. They say that they are going to go ahead with the April fairs. They're doing all the marketing, and they've got the dates and everything set up, but we'll see what happens.
I think we all know what will happen, but let's see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering because I saw that the dates were still there, but Hong Kong is still totally locked down.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And, talking about trade shows, trade fairs, most everything has gone online. Megla offers Virtual India Sourcing Show, which is VISS from Robert. VISS rocks. Do you want to talk a little bit about
Robert.
that? Yeah, if people want to learn more about Virtual India Sourcing Show.
Yeah, so Virtual India Sourcing Show is something that we started last year. I started this together with Margaret and Kevin, who are my partners, and they're coaches on India sourcing trip as well, and they themselves source from India. So when we couldn't go ahead with the sourcing trip last April, we decided to do something virtually because we have this huge group of a huge Facebook group of sellers, and they still wanted to source products. So basically what we do is every month we do a live webinar where we invite manufacturers from India to do live sessions with the audience, and they talk about their companies, they show their products, they tell their stories, and they engage with people, and people can ask questions. So it's basically a live webinar with suppliers and manufacturers, and all of these companies are vetted by us. So we make sure that they are legitimate companies. We check their documents. We make sure that they are actually manufacturers. We also check their documents for that. And basically we just have fun with these companies. During the live, it's kind of conversational. We try to understand their history, because I think that's something that's very unique in India. You'll find that a lot of companies have a very interesting story and a history. And there's this one company that we featured from South India. They were making coir products, coir doormats, and they had been producing these doormats from the 1920s. And it was very interesting to see how they had just started with a really small workshop, and they have now grown into such a huge factory, and they are one of the largest suppliers of IKEA from Asia. So you can check out more in our Facebook group if anyone's interested. Just search for Sourcing from India to join the group and get more information about this. Gary, you're muted.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that, Megala. And Henry's comments, India needs an Alibaba. Someone should definitely build that out, since we don't see that. Yes.
Yeah.
And Margaret says wonderful backstories.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Okay, great. So next, I'd like to hand things over to Matt Singers. He gave a great session about one way you can get more traffic to your Amazon listings. And it's something that not a lot of people are talking about, but I think this can be a way more cost-effective way to get more sales, more cost-effective than like using PPC, for example. So Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about what you shared today with the affiliate marketing strategy?
Definitely. So my background, I've run a couple of e-commerce businesses previously, and I've spent a lot of time in the sort of SEO affiliate industry. And we've definitely seen that those two industries don't talk very well together, which is such a shame, because they really benefit from each other, right? So there's lots of people out there who do informational websites about pretty much any topic under the sun. Now, these guys are generally looking for products to promote. So a good example, if you take literally whatever your product is and you go and search best product name or product name review, you will find a whole bunch of websites that are promoting those type of products. And generally, a lot of them lead to Amazon. And particularly last year, Amazon US in particular cut the commission rates a lot. So now when people are referring clients to Amazon, they typically get between 1% and 4% commission, right? Which is not a lot. Sometimes if you help sell a product worth $100, you get $1, right? Now, a lot of sellers are obviously willing to pay a lot more than 1% to help get their product sold, wherever it's to their own e-commerce store, for example, Shopify or whatever, or it's actually getting more sales in their Amazon store, right? So depending on where you are business-wise, one or the other might make more sense. But the fundamental is that there's lots of people out there who's willing to push a product for percentage commission. So, unlike PPC, like the challenge with PPC is often you don't really know upfront what you're going to pay, right? Now, the benefit with doing affiliate is the fact that you're paying a percentage. So you always know, like if you have a product where you have, 20% margins, like you can go out and give 10, 15% away to people. Obviously, if you're doing it to your own store, then you can probably afford to pay more because then you keep the emails and, you own the customer. Whereas obviously, if you do it to Amazon, you might do less. Now, the key thing is if you're launching new products, right? This is an amazing strategy to go out and find a whole bunch of people to push your stuff. The key thing is, one, it doesn't have to cost you anything, right, up front. So you're basically just offering people a higher commission than, what they would get on Amazon. So if you go to people and say, hey, I can see you have a, what's a good product, Gary? Give me a product.
AirPod case.
AirPod case, right?
AirPod case.
So
yeah.
let's say you're selling AirPod cases. You go and you Google best AirPod cases, and then you find, a bunch of sellers that are recommending different products. Now, if you go to any of these affiliates and say, hey, I can see you're currently promoting some products on Amazon, if you would list my product as the best one and do a solid review of it, I would happily pay you 10% commission on top of what you're actually getting from Amazon. So the 1 to 4%, right? Now, if you're sitting as an affiliate and you're typically getting, let's say 2%, if you can suddenly get 12% per sale, that becomes very interesting, and they're very interested in pushing you, right? So that is a very, very solid strategy that a lot of the customers I've worked with and coached over the years have used to amazing.
You're cutting out a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was saying that's basically something that a lot of my customers have used for quite a while and with extreme success, right? Because the whole point is you only pay for what you're getting. So if you're not getting sales, right, like even if you run out of stock, well, then you're not paying, right? So
right. Excellent. Yeah. And I'm curious, Seamus or Cameron, are you implementing any strategies like this, like what Maz is talking about?
Last year it was our first year when we tried to enter into gift guides before Christmas. So we pitched some gift guides, the owners of gift guides, and we sent free stuff for them, so to review our products and list them. It's very well. We saw that it's the sales were better, but it's very hard to measure because it's very hard to really understand what if the sales were better because of the coronavirus and the natural increase in sales of e-commerce, or it just was the add-on from those gift guides. So this we did it, we tried it, but it was very hard to measure. But what I heard right now from Matt, so what he said, it looks like it's possible to measure when you do on the affiliate marketing.
Yeah.
Then this case is very interesting.
We have actually worked with a lot of customers that are doing this outreach to influencers, and that can also sometimes work. The problem is you don't know what you're getting. So honestly, even when we would work with influencers, we would also do it in the affiliate marketing route. So a lot of influencers, it's like, hey, can you post a picture of my product? And they're like, yeah, that's $1,000. Like, are you gonna bring me any sales? And 99% won't, right? So the whole thing is what we do with influencers, even when we connect with influencers, what we typically do is we then make sure they're using an affiliate link, and then we give them either an amount per product or again a percentage, right? So because like fundamentally, we don't want to pay influencers $500 or $1,000 for nothing. And in reality, for most people, that's what you're getting, right? So we always want to make sure that it's actually measurable.
Right. And Matt, we had a question from Uli, who asked, "How do you know who referred the customer if selling FBA?"
Right. So when you do that, Uli, you don't see it as the seller, but the people referring traffic to you get a line by line breakdown of all the products they have sold, that they've supported to sell, and basically they can see exactly how many of your items they've sold. So typically we get a report from the people we work with on a monthly basis where they say, okay, last month we helped you sell 400 of these units. And then we go in and give them the percentage commission based on those reports, right?
So you would ask them to share that report, that
Yes.
Amazon commission report with you, right, to find out specifically.
I mean, it comes straight from the Amazon dashboard. A couple of the affiliates, we actually have direct access, so they can basically give you read-only access to their reporting. So
excellent.
Most don't, but in principle you can. So, but that's great. Yeah. Great. And the good thing is, right, you don't often see a lot of what's happening in the marketplace. Like there's tools to estimate sales, but very often when you find a good affiliate, if you actually build a relationship with them and jump on the phone with them once in a while, you can say, well, what kind of products are you selling a lot of? And they're like, well, we sell 500 units of these products every month. And you're like, maybe I should do one of those. If you could put us on top of that product, that would be, if we launch a brand new product and we can already estimate 500 sales a month just from that affiliate, that could be a great niche, right? So there's a ton of benefit in working with affiliates and establishing some good relationships with affiliates that have scalable traffic, right?
Excellent. Cameron, do you have anything to weigh in talking about, affiliates, or, are you doing anything like this with your business?
Affiliates, we have an ambassador program that we're just starting this year. We're starting to ramp up this year. They'll all be using, a lot of them will be using affiliate links. We haven't gone as far as to kind of do some of the things that Mads is talking about, but we're definitely working on outside traffic. Like Seamus talked about gift guides. We're working on that as well. But the ambassador program is kind of our big thing for this year, and we're kind of going around looking for micro influencers. We have a micro influencer sign up page on our website where they can apply to become an influencer for us, and there's certain benefits if they have certain followers on different social channels and stuff. I think, I know that there's a lot of big brands in the Amazon space, including some of the aggregators that are big into the affiliate traffic. So I know it's something that that is worth looking at for sure. It's just the affiliate kind of traffic world is, it's a hardcore marketing world, and you kind of need to know what you're doing. And we're not quite there yet. But it's something, outside traffic is definitely something that we're working on this year.
Excellent. All right. A couple other comments. So Uli says, thank you, Matt. It's great. Thanks, Uli, for your question. Henry had a comment.
I mean, I used the example here of finding affiliate, just sort of searching best of your product or review of your product and so on, right? Other ways is simply just finding people who have solid email list, right? Like particularly if you're in a hobby space, or if you're selling air conditioned units, probably a lot of people aren't super excited about it and have big lists around it. But if you're selling products that are somewhat relevant to hobbies and so on, like there's a lot of website owners out there that have email list of 20, 30, 40,000 people, and particularly at product launches, they can be super valuable, right? One of my business partners, he worked a lot in the old women's space, so stuff like knitting and all this kind of stuff, and he basically helped like over 20 sellers launch brand new products, and he have a list of, I think, about 40,000 emails in that niche, and he's basically helping promote products that are super relevant to that high level niche, and he sends out an email to these 40,000 people for a new Amazon product, and some of them get thousands of sales from it, right? So that is a significantly cheaper way than, again, having to go and give away products and whatever the latest marketing gimmick people use when they're launching, right? So I mean, affiliate, totally agree, Cameron. It's definitely a hardcore game if you want to be the affiliate, but as an e-commerce guy, you literally need very, very little. Like, all you need to do is basically build a relationship with the individual. I mean, I typically just get on the phone for 15, 20 minutes with people. And so build a little bit of a relationship. A lot of time, yes, you can definitely send them product. The honest truth is that 95% of product reviews out there have never seen the product. The only thing they do is they go onto Amazon, they read all the reviews, they pick the products with the best reviews, and they literally take out things from the, pros is typically good comments and cons is typically bad comments, right? But if you Google best TV or best laptop, 99% of the time those people have never seen the product, never, right? And
Right.
Again, as a seller, you can benefit from that, because again, if you pay the highest commission, and by the way, no one's doing this, right? So if you approach people and say, hey, I'll give you 10% extra commission, 99.9% of people says, okay, great. And again, if they are like, let's say you're selling a Hoover, for example, if you search best Hoover, okay, some of the top results, if they're, like big newspapers or something, they might be hard to negotiate with. But any kind of sites that like called besthoover.com or any kind of smaller sites, they are pretty much all open for negotiation.
So more details in your presentation, right?
Yeah, a lot more details in the presentation. Yes.
All right, you sold me.
Thank you so much. It's so valuable. I'm listening, and my ears are happy what they hear. What you're saying right now.
It's I mean, so I had one client that I work with. He started a new brand in the running space, and he went from $0 to $260,000 sales in 3 months from launching.
So just so I'm clear, I'm not doing this for your benefit. I'm asking for my benefit. Can you give me it sounds like you have services that are in this area, right? Can you give me like the 30-second elevator pitch of what you do?
Yeah, so we have a couple of services. One, we actually have VAs. So we do a lot of VAs, and a lot of time these VAs basically help sellers find these potential affiliates. I always recommend for the sellers to actually talk with the affiliates and build the relationship themselves. So that's that one. Again, I love helping people and talking to people. So hit me up, and I'm always happy to chat and give you.
What's the best way to connect, Mads, while we're live?
Mats@matsingers.com. So I don't even know if I can put that in the comments, but mats@matsingers.com is my email. I'm on Facebook and LinkedIn and all that stuff, and I'm the only one in the world with my name.
Beautiful. All right, that's great. I love how this has become a mastermind for 7-figure and 8-figure sellers. They're very interested in applying this to their own business. So I think if they're interested, there might be some value there for everyone else as well. So this is great. Quick comments from Robert. Mads, what do you think of ClickFunnels?
I mean, it's not something I'm a fan of per se. Again, the way I look at it is I like, if I'm an e-commerce business, my focus is developing great products and building a brand. I look at the affiliate angle being, I want to be able to get other people to get me traffic so that I don't have to worry about it. I mean, obviously, as an e-commerce brand, you can build a lot of content on your own website and so on. You can. But my experience is that most e-commerce businesses probably don't benefit by doing a ton of that. So I'm much more happy for other people to be promoting my product and just giving them a little bit of commission. And then I focus on the brand and the business, right? So that's generally how I look at it. You definitely can. I mean, I know Amazon sellers that actually go out and buy some of these affiliate sites. So the way the affiliate sites work is that they're basically, their income is based on commission, for example, from Amazon. So lots of sites only sell Amazon products. So let's say you are in the fitness space, right? Now, if you go out and find an Amazon affiliate website, and let's say they're making $1,000 a month, right, in profit from 1, 2, 3, 4% items from Amazon. Now, their pricing is generally 30 times the monthly income. So if they're making $1,000 a month, basically it costs about 30 grand to buy the site. Now you have to remember, if you go and buy that site, they're getting 1 to 4% for the sales. So if you buy the site, it will still keep making that money, right? But that then gives you an opportunity to literally do what you like with that traffic, right? Like you can even put banners on the thing, you can collect emails, like that. There's a ton of opportunities, right? So lots of people even do that kind of thing very successfully.
Great, Matt. This is awesome. But just for the interest of time, we only have a few minutes left. I'd like to move forward to some of the other questions in the chat. And also, at the top of the hour, we talked about expanding internationally, right? So I'm curious, Cameron and Seamus, which marketplaces are you getting good traction in expanding internationally? Because right now Amazon is in, I believe, 16 international markets. So I'm curious. Let's start with Seamus and then Cameron. And Yana, I'd like you to weigh in as well what you're seeing. But Seamus.
Yeah, so from the newest ones that they opened recently, or planning to open, I put big hopes to Poland. It's quite a big marketplace in Europe, 40 million people. Those like Polish people are used to buy on Amazon because they used to buy from Germany. It's very close countries, so they are neighbors. So they used to buy from Amazon already. So right now, when they will have their own Amazon website to buy the products, I believe that it should be a good marketplace to expand. So I put a lot of hopes in there. Also, I believe that the Netherlands marketplace also will rise. Recently, I read several articles that Amazon is planning to expand the Netherlands marketplace to Belgium. I mean, the Belgian people would, if they want to buy the products from Amazon, they will be directed to the Netherlands, even because of the Dutch language, probably. So I hope that the Netherlands marketplace, even though it's quite small yet, but it will rise. Maybe 1 year, 2 years, but it will come to the point that it will look like a very interesting place. Yeah, so probably those two marketplaces already. I haven't started in Brazil, but definitely looking to that marketplace as well. It's big marketplace. Comparing in the number of people lives in Brazil. So yeah, before this live conference started, I spoke with Megla and asked her to help to go to India as well. So those marketplaces I'm considering about right now.
Great.
So
okay. Great. And Cameron, how about you?
Yeah, so we haven't entered any of the kind of the new small Amazon marketplaces yet. I think in 2021 we'll look at Mexico is kind of the next one. We don't have a plan to go to Australia or any like Singapore or Poland and Netherlands. Like the Netherlands, they've auto-translated our stuff. We might do a little bit more there, but I would just kind of reiterate, and I did in my presentation as well, that like the main international marketplaces like UK, Germany, even Spain, France, Canada, for us, they make up almost half of our sales. So it's been a really important driver of growth. So for those people who are just selling in the US, especially if you've got really unique and interesting products, it's not nearly as hard as, I don't think, as kind of what people say it is to expand to at least, let's say, Canada and the UK, and then you can kind of play it by ear. It's getting a little bit more complicated with Brexit, but if you've got good products, it's definitely worth doing. And it's just another kind of plug for Yana. We use her basically for all our translations for the last, I don't know, year and a half or something like that. And it's pretty, we're pretty hands off. We just toss all the listings over there and they come back 10 days later, and she does a good job. So anyone who needs translations, that's a recommendation.
That's awesome. She's like the secret weapon, right?
Thank you so much.
These sellers are using. So yeah, that's great, Cameron. And one tidbit I took away from Cameron is, you got to be in international, right? Cameron says, Europe, those main countries, the main 5, they generate 50% of his sales, if I understood correctly, right? So if you're not expanding internationally, you could be missing out on potentially doubling your sales, right? And that would be one of the key things, like the 80-20 of scaling your business. So I think that's really solid advice coming from Cameron.
So
yeah,
Cameron,
we've also
have you considered Amazon India? Have you considered selling in Amazon India at all?
we should talk. I know that there's the JV and like the different, like you have to have a different company set up and stuff. And stuff there. So we haven't looked into it. We haven't. It's a possibility. Our kind of focus this year, like I said, I think is Mexico as a new Amazon marketplace, and then Walmart.com as a new US marketplace. So we've just set up a US entity. Like I know Megla, I talked to you a couple months ago about kind of whether there was any other way to do that. There isn't. So we just set up a US entity basically to set up Walmart. We've looked at Mexico. We tried the North American remote fulfillment a little bit, but for toys, most of the products are restricted. So we have to directly send them to Mexico FBA. So we're kind of looking at the Mexican tax situation right now and trying to figure out what it is. But yeah, so Mexico, Amazon, and Walmart.com are kind of our 2 targets for this year. But if India, if there's some success stories in India, I would kind of love to hear them.
Yeah, I think for your category,
I'm sorry to interrupt, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Mads has to run, so I would like to thank Mads again. Please follow up if you want to learn more about affiliate marketing. So thank you, because we're running out of time. Thanks, Mads.
Bye.
Yeah. All right, Megla, back to you.
Yeah, I was just saying that your category, Cameron, toys, I think that's definitely a high demand category in India, and there is definitely good potential. You should consider that.
Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, great, guys. And if you'd like to connect with connect with Yana, there you go. Right, Yana at ylt-translations.com. Also check out her session at the summit. We have all of her contact info, and she has a nice bonus for you guys as well. If you upgrade to the All Access Pass, you can get 10% off her translation services. Okay, so definitely take advantage of that if you haven't already, the All Access Pass. All right, great. I can't believe we're almost out of time. Thank you, everyone. Another great recap. Megla, I hope to join you for an India sourcing trip. I just requested your ebook. Yes. And then Megla also offered a special bonus for our All Access Pass holders. She put together an ebook. Do you want to tell us more about that, Megla?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is almost a 50-page ebook that you're going to get if you upgrade to the All Access Pass. And it's basically an overview of how to source from India. So it can get you started. It has things like, how to find suppliers, negotiating, cultural sensitivities, what kinds of products to source, what are the production hubs, freight forwarding, payments, like all of the major aspects are covered. Plus, it also has a list of service providers. So in case you want to get started, you can, there are sourcing agencies, QC companies, a lawyer, all types of support that you would need for sourcing. So you have the contact details of vetted service providers in the book as well.
Awesome. So definitely check out the All Access Pass, 7figuresellersummit.com/order. So let me just put that up on the ticker. So that's awesome. All right, so we're already at the end of the hour. I can't believe just time flew by. Let me quickly. If you guys have to run, feel free. But we have a couple more questions in the chat if you're available to stay on just a couple more minutes. Margaret asks, what software are you using for the new marketplaces, guys?
Well, most of the software works the same as for the USA marketplace, so it's mostly the same ones, like as for USA. So nothing special.
It depends on, like, for the new marketplaces, like for instance, like the Dutch marketplace, for instance, like we use Helium 10 for most of the keyword research. We do combinations with some other tools, but let's say like a Helium 10, which is a go-to tool for most of the marketplaces, didn't work for the Dutch marketplace in all 2020. So you had to find like different solutions there. And like for Poland, for instance, and for Sweden, there are no tools like Amazon tools that have this marketplace. So you have to kind of go to either Keyword Planner or to some other tools like AMZ Suggestion Expander. You have to kind of make a combination of tons of different tools. Then you compare and then you see what you're going to get. So this is the situation where all the new marketplaces are not like Germany, France, Spain, Italy, like the bigger ones, until the tools, add these marketplaces to them. I mean, that's just how we do it.
Well, I believe that most apps will develop shortly, and they will adapt and add those new marketplaces shortly. So I don't think that's going to be a gap for a long time. So
no, me neither. It's gonna be like as soon as like these marketplaces take off, they're probably gonna add. I mean, that's what happened with Helium. So
awesome. Speaking of Helium, we have a special offer from Helium 10 for all Summit attendees. You can get 1 free month of Helium 10, no strings attached, for all 7-Figure Seller Summit attendees if you haven't used them before. So if you're new, if you want to get into this, I just dropped a link in the chat. It's pages.helium10.com/7fss-Karen. Karen Thomas gave a great talk on day one at the summit, talking about creating an optimized listing that converts on Amazon. So yeah, that's awesome. Just wanted to give that to you guys. We have a couple more questions. I want to quickly do a rapid fire if that's cool with you guys. Uli said at the top, I wanted to start selling in the baby department. All the products have high competition due to increase in number of sellers. Is it a good idea to still try to launch and compete with differentiations? Thoughts, guys?
Well, I think she kind of, I was looking at the question and I was about to answer with her last sentence. So as long as you have something that's materially different and something that customers will perceive value from as a difference, yes. If it's different for the sake of being different, then obviously that won't help you. But if it's different and that's something that customers want, then sure. I mean, that's what we do kind of all day long. If you can launch products into highly competitive spaces, but what you have is a little bit different, those are the things that can really, really, really take off.
Awesome.
My answer would be very simple. It's always better to try and get the answer, whether it works or not, instead of worrying and guessing and never trying get results. So it's do it and learn yourself whether it works or not. And when you get your knowledge, then you see is it possible to improve, and what's working and what's not.
Perfect. Next question: which form of payment would you use when selling in other marketplaces, and which deposit method would you suggest to use in other marketplaces? What do you guys think?
She means which of the third-party payment solutions, or
I believe so. Yeah, I believe
just play them off against each other. So find 5 of them and just play them off against each other for the lowest rate. That's kind of the way they work. They work very, very similarly. We've used a bunch of them. I know people who use pretty much every single one of them, and there's very little material difference between them, to be honest. And just play them off against each other and see who gives you the lowest rate.
And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Ping Pong Payments, as they're a sponsor of Seven Figure Seller Summit, and they can definitely cut your payments down to below 1%. I'm using them right now. So if you're using Amazon, you're paying like 3.9%. So you can cut that down. And we have a special offer, 1 free month free of foreign deposits and payments. I'm going to drop that down in the chat.
Gary, I will have to leave. I'm sorry. I have to go. It's been a pleasure.
Worries.
It was great seeing you guys. If you have any questions, anybody from the audience, you can reach to my email. And so enjoy the rest of the evening, and I hope to see you soon in person. Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Thank
you so much, Yana. Take care.
Bye,
We'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, great. I know we're over time, guys, but we have just a couple more questions. But if you have to run, please run. All right. And
it's 3 a.m. already in the morning here in Lithuania, so there's no place to run right now.
Okay. All right. I want to make this as much value as I can for you guys. Nutu asks, if we are using a separate packaging factory from our manufacturer, which are both based in China, should we send our product to the packaging company to be packed and shipped? What are your thoughts, guys?
I would say it's your choice. It's your choice, and calculate, know your numbers of the size of the packaging. So just if it's worth to do so, do it. So it's a business decision. It's and no emotional and strings attached. Just know your numbers, calculate, and make your own decision if it's worth or not.
Yeah, it depends on the capability of that factory too. So there's lots of packaging factories that will not pack for you, for sure. Most of them probably won't. Some of them will. I think for most like beginner sellers, that's a bridge too far. Like you're not going to be able to work that logistically. If you are capable of working that logistically, it'll be cheaper, almost for sure. Because, but it's not going to be super easy to work out with the original supplier. So the supplier that makes the actual product for you probably will want to do the packaging in-house, because they'll source that, they'll mark it up a little bit, it'll give them a higher profit margin. It's also easier to do QC for them and make sure the entire product is good. If you start separating stuff out, you potentially can lower your cost, which is good, but you also, if something goes wrong, you can bet that all these different suppliers are going to blame each other. They won't take the responsibility themselves. They'll each blame each other. So there's pros and cons to doing it that way. We do it that way, but we have boots on the ground, so we can see the components that are coming in from the from the factory that's manufacturing each component before they're assembled. So we can say this is garbage, and we can just send it straight back to them. Without boots on the ground, it's possible. But don't go in thinking it's going to be easy.
I also think it depends on the type of packaging and the type of product. Like if you're just doing a simple box or a carton kind of gift box packaging, then it makes sense to just ship the boxes from the packaging company to the supplier. It also depends on your product. I mean, if it's a bulkier kind of product, maybe more expensive to ship it to the packaging company.
Yeah, so we're doing the same, what Cameron is saying. So we do the packaging by ourselves. So we make kind of bundles. We source products from different suppliers. We ship everything to one storage, and then that storage has the packaging facility, and we pack ourselves. But then what happens then? We control the process by ourselves. So all the packaging, all the sorting process, we control that each unit is packed in the way as we would like to, and it's done by ourselves. So then it's much what Cameron said. You get lower price from the suppliers because you get the products without their original packaging. One thing, then the shipping is cheaper because the volume of the products are lower. Without the packaging, they weight less, and you can control the quality of the final product. But if you're shipping your product throughout the different suppliers, and you lose your control. But it's always depends. It's a business decision. It always depends on the trust, on the processes, how you control the packaging facilities and suppliers, and also depends on the cost. It's you have to calculate and know your numbers.
Right. So Seamus, is this mostly for bundling, or is this also if you just have one product that you want to put in a gift box, for example?
It's usually what we do. We try to avoid being yet another one product in the market. So in order to become this way, we usually use several suppliers of different products, and they do not produce at one facility. And somehow you have to join some products, add-ons, and so on to improve the whole like set or the product set of products. So you have to somehow to put everything into one box or package. So this is why we do it. We don't want to be yet another one, so we have to improve it. And one of the options how to do it, so to create a set of products from different items and pack them into the one package.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think if you're doing bundling, then it makes sense to get them packaged separately. But I think the question is they just have one product. I mean, that's what I understood from the question.
Yeah. Nucci said our product, so one product.
It looks like one product.
Okay.
So
Right,
if that's the one product, so I don't understand the reason why you should be sending the product to different places.
Yeah.
So probably the same market, the same manufacturer could pack for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the quickest and the simplest way if you ask your existing product supplier for the package. All right. Excellent. Okay. So to round out, Margaret said, Marge, thank you. Robert says, shishia. Uli says, thank you, Cameron. Helpful info. Uli says, thank you, Seamus. We have another quick question here from Facebook user. A few tips for safe sourcing from China. Is it wise to use Alibaba Trade Assurance or NNN agreement is enough? We can talk for 1 hour about this topic. Who would like to quickly weigh in, just like the 80-20 of this in like 30 seconds? If not, I can tackle this. Trust but verify. Use payment terms. Don't pay 100% at once. Google search 80-20 sourcing and my name. I've done numerous YouTube videos sourcing from that. I think that would be the best way. But yeah, we could talk for an hour on this.
I would just add a little bit on to Gary. This is not really safe sourcing. This is just sourcing in general. I have a little bit of a pet peeve when people kind of, I mean, you hear on some podcasts and stuff like that where people talk negotiation tactics and stuff like that for 2 hours and talk about Guanxi and China and like, how it's so unique, negotiating in China and stuff like that. I'll tell you how we do it. And I've been in China for like coming on 20 years right now. It's comparison. Compare. That's it. And I speak Chinese. We have a sourcing team here. My sourcing team is Chinese. How do they do it? They compare. They find multiple suppliers and they compare. When we have suppliers who raise prices, we go back again and we compare. So you shouldn't rely on one supplier forever for one product. Especially if the price is kind of jumping around. You should, the prices for the raw materials might have gone down, they might have gone up. Just don't rely too heavily on one supplier and compare prices constantly. That's not really related to safe sourcing necessarily, but a lot of people overcomplicate the kind of negotiation in China. I'm sure it's the same in India or anywhere else. It's compare.
Yeah, that's brilliant. The Chinese have an expression actually. 货比三家. Cameron, I'm sure you know what that means, right? When you go to the marketplace, you got to shop around. You can't buy your fish from the first vendor. You got to visit at least 3 shops, and then you compare exactly what you said. So the first guy's offering it for like 10 kwai, the second is like 15, the third is like 20. That's how you have an idea. And then you go to the one with the 20, you say, hey, that guy's offering for 10. Can you match that? Right? But,
exactly. And then they'll tell you that the quality is a little bit different, and you just continue that conversation, and you'll eventually get to the price you want for the product you want.
I love it. Megla, what about India? Is that true for India?
Yes, definitely. It's very, very true for India. And especially if you're sourcing a product that's manufactured in a production hub where there are, 10 different factories making similar sort of products. And, you can go from one factory to another and compare and work one factory against the other, basically, like Cameron said. And same strategy works in India too.
Brilliant. I love the value we're getting from this. I hope this is helpful, guys. If it is helpful, can you drop some love in the chat for us and give us a like or hit that thumbs up? All right. I mean, people like Seamus, he's up at 3 a.m. right now with us. So show us some love, please, as we round out the hour. All right. So we have some more questions. I think we're out of time. Can we answer one more question from Henry? All right. Thank you, Henry, for staying on. As a complete beginner, I found my supplier and got a good quote for my product. I'm on DDP, air cargo. How do I proceed on getting shipping price from supplier without sounding like I've never done it?
Well, all right. Megla, would you want to be first?
Well, I'm just going to say that, if you're doing DDP, why do you need a shipping price? Because DDP includes the shipping price and everything. So you're basically just going to get one price for the product that includes shipping.
Or just go to, I don't know, what I do for air cargo. I go to DHL, UPS, and other big shipping companies and ask for the shipping price, and then you can get the ex-work price from supplier and add on your shipping price on your own, what you manage to negotiate with the shipping provider.
That's not a bad price. That's actually a good price. What he just put on the
screen. That's a good price. That's a good price.
Cargo 5 to 7 USD. All right. Cool. There you go. So he's shipping from China.
Right? Yeah. Yes, it's from China. It's a good price for air cargo.
Okay, great. Well, there you go. So to round it out, Uli says, thank you, everyone. Very helpful info. I'm very grateful for your precious time you shared with us. Megla, now I know more about sourcing from India. Great. Thanks, Uli. Facebook user says, thank you. Margaret says, great advice. Cameron. Henry said, Cameron, can you say something in Chinese to Gary?
新年快乐，希望你明年过得好。
Thank you. Happy New Year. I hope you have a great year. Yes. 彼此，新年快乐. All right. Nutu says, very helpful. Thank you very much. Margaret, thumbs up. Henry says, DHL China. Great. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Let's just finally go around the table. Seamus, Cameron, and Megla, if people want to connect with you, what is the best way?
I would ask to connect me if anybody wants to connect with me, even though I'm not the service provider is Yana, who translates listings. But if anybody wants to get a consultation or advice, tips, and any kind of ideas to share with me, so they can connect via LinkedIn. When I did my speech and presentation on this summit, I gave the contacts to Gary of my LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn and connect with me over there.
Perfect. And Cameron?
I'm on. I think Facebook's probably best. And I think I've seen just this morning after that presentation aired this morning, a couple people kind of send some messages. So Facebook is good.
Awesome. And Megla?
Yeah, the best way is to join my Facebook group. So search for Sourcing from India on Facebook, join the group, and reach out to me on Messenger if you have any questions.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much, guys. And if you haven't already, we have the All Access Pass for the summit. So this way you can unlock all 34 sessions and you can get the videos and audios and the transcripts as well as the special bonus offers and Megla's ebook as well, Sourcing from India. So definitely check that out at sevenfiguresellersummit.com/order. So this has been day 3, scaling your business. I think this has been helpful. Thanks so much to Seamus. Thanks so much to Cameron and Megla, and also Matt and Yana who joined earlier. Thanks everyone for watching. And then tomorrow is day 4. So we're going to talk about profitability so you can keep more money in your pocket. So we're talking about knowing your numbers, how to run PPC profitably, and a lot of other ways that you can increase your bottom line. So definitely check out day 4 tomorrow. All right. So thank you everybody for coming on. It's been great, and have a great day. Have a great night, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Thanks a lot, Gary. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, Gary.